You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitner, and this is your NXT update for Wednesday, October 11th, 2017. Thank you all for listening. We started this week with our quest to find a new NXT Women's Champion in a triple threat match to kick off the show. Nikki Cross of Sanity, Liv Morgan, and Peyton Royce of the iconic duo in a triple threat match. The winner going on to Houston to be a part of the Fatal 4-Way match with Kairi Sane and two other people who will be determined in the next 2 weeks. The match started with Nikki screaming at Peyton, and this led to Nikki grabbing Liv's arm and using a double clothesline to send Peyton out of the ring. We settled down into a normal three-way from there. To be fair, the crowd did not care for this one at all, making very little noise for the most part. Peyton at one point used a reverse octopus on Liv, but Nikki broke that up, which actually caused Peyton to fall to the floor and almost land on her head. The beginning of the finish saw them do a stacked-up superplex where Liv got the worst of it, when suddenly the Undisputed Era came out, and from the ramp they sent Mae Young Classic competitor Taynara Conti down to the ring. She interfered on their behalf, attacking Nikki Cross, not allowing her to score any pinfalls, and eventually led to Peyton Royce pinning Nikki Cross with a fisherman suplex. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Cross is out of the Fatal 4-Way match. Peyton Royce is in, and we'll find out in the next 2 weeks who the other two ladies are. We then got Lio Rush's official NXT in-ring debut. You might recall last week he was supposed to debut against Aleister Black. However, he was assaulted I say, by Velveteen Dream. He was attacked from out of nowhere, and that led us to this match. Match only went maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but for 3 or 4 minutes, Lio Rush looked pretty good here. Despite his small size, he used it to his advantage as he dodged, ducked, dipped, dived, and dodged around the Dream during the early part of the bout. Unfortunately, he didn't dodge quick enough for long enough as the Dream knocked him down and took over. Rush showed just enough to impress people who didn't know him, but he went down for the count to our Purple Rainmaker. After the match, Dream looked into the camera and mouthed a message to Aleister Black to say his name. I'd like to imagine that, because they'll probably be sports entertaining each other at TakeOver, I'd like to imagine they're going to get Destiny's Child, bring them together, and have them perform their one hit, Say My Name, in Houston before their match between Dream and Aleister Black. Up next, Lars Sullivan destroyed Danny Birch. This match was set up 2 weeks ago when Sullivan defeated Oney Lorcan, and Birch ran in for the save from a post-match attack. Sullivan, I'll make it short and sweet here. Sullivan took almost all the offense. Again, he was never taken off his feet by any offensive maneuver given to him, and he won with his side spinebuster. Next week, Drew McIntyre is in the arena to cut a promo based on what happened at the end of last week, where Roderick Strong seemed to walk off with the Undisputed Era. The Street Profits were out next in a tag team match playa as they took on Damian Smith and Marco Estrada. The Profits are easily one of the most over acts in NXT, and this match was like the last two matches. It was over as quickly as it began. We had a lot of shenanigans and non-action before Smith was the victim of the combo Spinebuster Frog Splash, and I don't believe Estrada ever tagged in. The Street Profits celebrated their win in the audience. Next week, the three-way match is going to be Ruby Riott, Sonya Deville, and Ember Moon, and we're going to have a six-man tag team match with Sanity against the Undisputed Era. Main event time. The show goes pretty quickly when you have 3 matches that go less than 3 minutes and no backstage segments at all this week. It is a rematch from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 as Johnny Gargano takes on Andrade, Cien, Almas. This was a good match. These two men do have excellent chemistry together. Almas got the heat when he dropped Gargano with Christian's old reverse DDT, but he did it on the ring apron, which, if you recall, is the hardest part of the ring. Gargano was on top of his game here, as even when Almas would do something, such as counter Gargano's slingshot spear, Johnny wrestling would backdrop Andrade over the top rope. Gargano kicked out of several big moves, which frustrated Almas. Johnny was so tired that after hitting a super kick, he collapsed onto Almas for a 2 count at one point. Almas went for a top rope hammerlock DDT, but Gargano blocked it, and then Almas blocked the sunset flip powerbomb. However, Gargano eventually got on the Gargano escape. Zelina Vega freaked out, took off her leather jacket to reveal that she was wearing a DIY t-shirt, which, if you recall, distracted Gargano back in Brooklyn. This time, though, Gargano didn't fall for it. However, Almas did get the ropes. They exchanged roll-ups until Almas was able to send Gargano face first into the bottom turnbuckles. 2 running knees to the back of the head later. That was more than enough. However, Almas still had to get his shit in. He picked up Gargano, dropped him with a hammerlock DDT, made the cover. The ref counted to 3, and Andrade, Cien, Almas is your winner of the match. So I'd like to sit here and say that all this extra stuff happened to try to pad some time onto here, but there's really nothing else to say. Remember the time they did the Sami Zayn Samoa Joe match? It was one match the entire show, and I talked about it for like 18 minutes. And this show with 5 matches on, I barely get over 7 minutes. Well, what can you do? But thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you again in 7 days.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.